I tried beating the Terrorborn mod in Terraria. This mod is perfectly described in only 3 words: balanced, terrifying, and absolutely awesome. With a brand new terror mechanic, 4 very difficult bosses, over 150 new items, and a whole storyline, this mod was truly a blast to play. I started playing it like any other normal Terraria mod, and then was absolutely blown away by the music. Do you hear that soundtrack? The music in the start was just beautiful. So props to you, whoever made the soundtrack. It was amazing. I went to check through all the various different weapons and then just decided that we're gonna go with the melee class. I also got a compass that had an arrow pointing to some strange direction that we will explore earlier, but for now I decided to build myself a bunch of houses, and once that was done I started work on my elevator, which led me to explore the underground. After I explored a bit, I made myself a furnace once I came back to spawn, and upon continuing digging, I just managed to get myself more ores. I got myself an iron pickaxe so I can mine faster, and I also got myself the dig faster, so that was neat. And once we were further down enough, I actually discovered a weird biome which was full of these blocks called Daemon Stone. This is a brand new ore added into the game. I mean, the Daemon Stone block is not the ore, but there is Daemon Stone ore, which is a pretty decent pre-hard mode ore within the game, added by the Terrorborn mod. At this point, we were still absolutely brand new to all of the mechanics of the Terrorborn mod, but we were about to find out just how deep this really gets. While I was mining, I discovered a skeleton that was literally starting to talk to me, and that freaked me out, but we managed to take it out. And while digging further down, I actually found a shrine for our very first terror ability. This was called the Shriek of Horror, and essentially what it did is it gave us a whole bar called the Terror Bar, kind of like what the Rage Bar is in Calamity, and it let us unleash a scream that would fill up our Terror Bar. But the downside to that was if we got hit, it would make us take twice the damage. But yeah, this unlocked a whole category of special abilities that take up terror, and let me tell you, these abilities are absolutely nuts. Like, further into the playthrough, they get ridiculous, and they let us do absolutely wild things that you would never imagine doing in Terraria. Anyways, I mined up myself this brand new ore called Nova Gold, and using the Nightlight, which is a brand new yo-yo that I got, I went exploring through the various different caverns up until I came back to spawn. And by this point, we actually almost fully maxed out our HP, so that was pretty neat. It was only like an hour into the playthrough, and we had a lot of resources. As soon as I came back to spawn, I actually met this guy named question mark, which is a major part of the storyline within the Terrorborn mod, so I went to go talk to him. This is how it went. Hello there. You must be a fellow seeker of this anomaly I've detected in this area. My spells have picked up very large amounts of terror emanating nearby. Wait, do you not know what terror is? That's pathetic, really. I think I'll start nicknaming you idiot. Ha. Yeah, so we got absolutely roasted, and then I realized that he sold some pretty useful items that I did not buy. I went over to the left side of the world and then crafted myself the infinite summon for the Eye of Cthulhu, and then I went to go check through all the various different melee weapons. What I realized is that we can craft stuff out of the Daemon Steel bars, but we needed a thing called the melding station. Anyways, being an absolute savage, I disregarded that and just decided to make an arena for the Eye of Cthulhu. I went back into that Daemon Steel biome, and I found these creatures called Bleaks while trying to talk to a brand new NPC that I found in the Daemon Steel biome. This guy, I'm pretty sure, just revealed the map for a certain amount of gold, and he followed me through the entire playthrough, which was kind of annoying, but you know, hey, I mean, he only had good intentions. After this, I followed the compass to a brand new ability, got myself some terror samples, which were gained by killing those Bleak enemies, and these items actually ran away from me as you tried to collect them, so it was a bit of a pain, but this would let us craft a bunch of various different things throughout the playthrough, so they come in very useful. Anyways, I got a brand new ability called the Hidden Instinct, which is essentially like a spelunker potion that consumes 50% terror. At this point, I didn't even know how to use terror, and I didn't know that the Shriek of Horror was the thing that let you power up terror, but once I figured that out, it was like discovering that your PP was not only for peeing for the first time. Jesus Christ. Anyways, I continued mining, got myself a bunch of life crystals. Once I came back to spawn, I fought the King Slime, and upon defeating the King Slime, we managed to get a brand new ability called the Gelatin Armor, which essentially just formed a shield around us, that blocked attacks. It wasn't really that useful, but I also got an accessory called the Compressed Gelatin, which let us hold W and it would launch us up into the air very, very far upon letting go of it. And that I used basically up until like the end of hard mode. Anyways, once it turned to nighttime, I crafted myself a shield that actually let us parry attacks using the Daemon Steel bars, and then also made myself a Daemon Steel sword, and upon a successful parry we summoned in the Eye of Cthulhu and took it out. I was testing out the power of the parry abilities throughout this entire time, and essentially what the parry does is if you time it perfectly to the moment when an enemy hits you, you can actually negate over 75% of the damage, and this was perfect, especially for all the boss fights that come in later within the playthrough. I continued mining using a Spelunker potion, and then I went over to the corruption biome to chuck some bombs at the orbs, and I fought the Eater of Worlds. This boss was stupidly easy, and after this I realized that there was a brand new boss on the checklist which was found in the ice biome. So I made my way over to the ice biome and I dug my way down into this fortress and used my Shriek of Horror, which was how you summon it. We summoned in this boss, and let me tell you, this was just death. This was brutal. I'll just show you what happened.
Why is he so difficult? Come on, I parried that. Successful parry. Bro, you can't do that. You can't just launch things at me. Why does he teleport around like that? I got him.
We did manage to take it out somehow, but I mean, this boss was quite tough. And after we defeated it, we actually got a brand new ability called the Blink Dash, which let us essentially dash, but it negates all the damage. It lets you like dash through mobs and bosses. So that was really neat. That was when the abilities actually started to get good. Then I tried to figure out how to summon the mysterious crab, but I didn't know. So I just gave up on that and I built myself a bunch more NPC houses. I went over to the jungle and fought the queen bee, which was quite easy. And after this, I crafted myself a weapon that is probably the most overpowered thing of all time and should be nerfed. This is called the Buzzer. All we needed was 10 BWACs, and when I say that this weapon literally held up until the mechanical bosses, I am not lying to you. Just keep this in mind, boys. This weapon was just a tragedy to anything that crossed its path. So yeah, this was considered a melee weapon, and it was kind of like a boomerang. You throw it and then bees come out of it, and it was really, really good. And I mean really, really good. We used it to take out Styria again, which was the boss within that tomb that we fought earlier, and we ended up getting one of his melee weapons, but that wasn't enough. I wanted to get a full set of his armor. So up until pre-hard mode, pre-wall of flesh, we were fighting this boss constantly. Anyways, once it turned to nighttime, I went to go and take out Skeletron using the Buzzer, which was just a joke. We took him out like it was nothing, and then I went to devour every single chest within Skeletron's dungeon only to find nothing new. I got myself some water candles though, so that was neat. And also, as I mined a meteor, I crafted myself these boots that let us fall faster, and this would also come pretty handy within the playthrough, as we can craft this into even more powerful boots after we have defeated Moonlord. Anyways, down in the underworld, since I got myself a shadow key, I went to open up a bunch of the shadow chests, which also led me to nothing. So after this, I just decided to go to the sand biome so I can grind out a bunch of like the antlion mandibles and undying tar, which was a brand new material dropped from these tar slimes that were just brutal. These I mean, the brand new enemies within the sand biome within the underground desert were just hell. I would not want to repeat this experience again. But yeah, we ended up getting the summon for this brand new boss, which was called the Dunestalk, and we went to go and fight it. Yeah, I'll show you what happened.
This is pre-wall of flesh. Oh damn.
What? Bro, why is this so hard? We got absolutely demolished by this boss, and we were not ready for what this mod had in store for us. In search for the Star Fury, I went to explore the Skylands, but I still could not find it. There was basically just a brand new sword that we can craft using the Star Fury, but after going through all the Skylands, it just did not spawn inside of our world. And during this time, we also got invaded by the Goblin Army, but we managed to take that out easily, and I mean easily, with the Buzzer. And then I went over to fight the Infected Incarnate again, which was that guy within the tomb. After this, I went over to the desert. I made myself a massive arena, buffed up, and summoned in the Dunestalk once more. Using the Buzzer, this time we actually defeated him, and I was just like quiet throughout the entire boss fight, completely focused on what was going on within the fight. We managed to take him out though, so that was neat, and I got myself a brand new ability called the Starving Storm, which essentially just summoned like this Duke Fishron like vortex. It wasn't good, but I also got a Cloak of the Wind, which was an accessory that let us dash, and I used this up until literally Endgame because it was just that good. Anyways, after this, I went mining, and mining I did. I also got myself a full set of the armor from the guy within the tomb, and I found myself a voodoo demon. I chucked the god voodoo doll into the lava because we were basically 100% ready, and using a weapon called the hungry whirlwind and the buzzer, we took out the wall of flesh like it was nothing. We are now in hard mode. You know what else goes hard? That is correct. The Boio plushies. Link in the description, of course. No, seriously though, you can pick them up. They are like really nice reviews, and I really think you'll like them, bro. So if you want to support the channel, you can check it out. If not, let's just get back to the video, bro. I went to go break a bunch of the altars, and I blessed my world with cobalt, mithril, and titanium. Wait, it's not mithril. It's not called mithril. It's mithril, right? Yeah. After we did all the blessings, I went to mine up cobalt, and after getting the cobalt pickaxe, I mined up mithril, got the mithril pickaxe, then I went mining for titanium, which was death because there was like no titanium world for some reason. And this is where all the fun starts. See, the thing is, this mod is fairly new, and there's no wiki for it that's properly fleshed out. So we had to literally discover everything on our own, and I mean everything. And there were so many souls, there were so many ores, there were just so much of everything, and I had no idea how to make any of it. I was lost for a long time within this playthrough, boyos. But of course, we'll skip through all the boring part because this is what this video is for. So anyways, I crafted myself this one sword called the Crystal Terror Blade, which was crafted using crystals that we ended up getting from the underworld, and the Star Fury, which I ended up getting from a different world. And then I went farming for wyverns. We took out a bunch of wyverns, and we got a bunch of harpies to die for their sins, giving us a giant harpy feather. So I can craft myself a pair of harpy wings, and once that was completed, start preparing for the mechanical bosses. I went to farm out a bunch of bones within Skeletron's dungeon. Once it started raining, I also went to the ocean during the nighttime to summon in the mysterious crab, which is another boss that was pre-hard mode, but we didn't get the chance to fight it before. So here you go. We ended up fighting the boss, and it was really cool. It ended up shooting these like above water projectiles that would just bombard us with light, and then it had these little balls of, I don't even know what that is, bro. It's like gumballs that it was shooting at us. I mean, I think it was just balls of air, I'm not gonna lie. But wouldn't balls of air like camouflage with the air? I don't really know, bro. Anyways, we took out the mysterious crab. This boss wasn't anything special. I personally didn't like this boss as much, but we ended up getting azurite ore within the caverns below the ocean to spawn in, and lunar energy was released during the rain, which actually gave us the ability to start a brand new event that we wouldn't be able to do without defeating this boss. So the boss did kind of come in handy later for the playthrough, but yeah, that's some cool stuff, boyos. Anyways, there was a blood moon, and then I died. So that was neat. During the blood moon, I decided to summon in the twins, and we ended up fighting them. I ended up using the buzzer, even though the Crystal Terror Blade, I think it's called, was far better. We just could not hit anything with that. So I used the buzzer for the entire twin boss fight, and we actually ended up taking the twins out with a pre-hard mode weapon, pre-Skeletron weapon, might I add. So that was cool. We did the same thing for the destroyer. Instead of actually using the buzzer, we used the Crystal Terror Blade, and Skeletron Prime, I didn't even fight him because it was not worth the troubles right now. This is where I got lost and then just started going through the wiki to try and find something, but there was literally nothing, and I mean nothing within the wiki to help us out. So I decided to go on a cheat sheet and reveal the entire map because I was trying to find this one ore that we needed to craft better weapons. Apparently it didn't want to spawn. Along with this, I didn't know that there was a top secret biome within the top right left of the world within the Sky Islands. So upon revealing the entire map, I actually discovered that in the top right of the world there is this biome that contained a whole new subsection of harpies that were literally made out of lava, a whole new ore that I didn't even know about, and an entire boss that we can fight within the biome. So yeah, that was cool. How did I not notice that? I don't know. So I went to go over to the island, and if you thought the normal harpies were annoying, boyos, get ready for these ones, because these ones are just absolutely atrocious. I went over there over and over again until I got enough incendiary ore, I think it's called, to craft all the things that I wanted to craft. Once I came back, I crafted myself the Aegis, which was just a brand new shield that let us parry even better, and I crafted myself the Sinful Saber out of the incendiary ore that we got from the island. If we had a sufficient amount of terror, this sword would actually like blast the projectiles in various different directions, which was neat, but the sword itself did like no damage, so it was just not worth using at all. I just decided to use the Crystal Tear Blade for Skeletron Prime, as that actually dealt some damage, but it still took us like forever to defeat Skeletron. I mean, we still did split it, so that's that. But once we defeated Skeletron Prime, the jungle grows restless, and an ancient predator haunts us during the night, whatever that means. You know what haunts you during the night? That is right, Boio when you don't subscribe to the channel. Anyways, this is where I went on to defeat the Destroyer again, and then get my bum back into those Sky Islands so I can actually go to a incendiary altar and craft myself the accursed clock using a bunch of different materials that you don't really care about. Anyways, this would help us summon the Hex Construct, which was a brand new boss that could be only summoned in the Sisyphean biome, which was the biome that we're in right now. So I did the only thing a wise man would do, and I buffed up and summoned in this boss. This boss was absolutely nutty, and I mean, it was cool as ever, bro. At first, it started off as just like a normal boss. I don't even know how to describe it. Like, just watch the screen, bro. It started off as like a normal boss, and then like once you took out half of it, it like mirrored itself, and then it was like super difficult to figure out which part was which. Bro, just watch the gameplay.
This boss fight is actually so intense. I'm not gonna lie. I'm not gonna lie. I'm not gonna lie. I'm not gonna lie. Just don't tell me he has a second phase. Ready? And then you blast. Ah, come on. No. He just demolishes you when he does the beam. Oh, this is such a brain. Ah! I can't for the life of me tell what's going on. No, I dodged in the wrong way. I'm shooting like the complete opposite way. It's like the closer he gets to death.
And the parry was actually very useful for this boss fight because without it I probably would have died. But after we defeated this boss, we actually got a brand new ability called the Time Freeze, which was probably my most used ability within this entire mod. Essentially, it froze time for 4 seconds at the cost of 65% terror, and it let us move while time was frozen. Anyways, the Hex Construct was down. After coming back to spawn, I crafted myself a full set of Hex Defender armor, which was far better than the armor set that we previously had. Like, we had pre-hard mode armor for all of these bosses, just saying. So, I mean, Boio isn't too bad at the game, as you can see. If I can defeat all the bosses with pre-hard mode armor, then you can probably get a girlfriend. Anyways, I also managed to get myself an Icarus Shred from the Hex Construct, which was a sword that had rapid swing speed, and it would teleport you around to the nearest enemy after killing your previous enemy. So that was pretty cool. You can probably see it in action further within the playthrough. But yeah, the next thing we had to go do is fight Queen Slime. So I went to go defeat Queen Slime just in case we missed anything from that. I was trying to get all the abilities, so I had to basically fight every single boss just to make sure I didn't miss anything. But apparently the Queen Slime didn't drop anything new. Anyways, our next boss was the Shadow Crawl, and for this we needed all of the souls and 5 various different bugs. I spawned in the Pirate Invasion during this time, which was quite easy, and after taking that out, I went to go get a bunch of Chlorophyte ore. While digging in the jungle, I also managed to find myself the ability called Horrific Adaptation, which heals you over time while being used. I mean, frankly, this ability was awful because it healed us very, very slowly, but hey, at least it was fun to use for like those 3 minutes that I did use it for. Anyways, after this, I went to go and try and catch butterflies, but there were no butterflies spawning in our world, so I just got them from a different world, and then I crafted myself the summon for the boss. So you know how it shows in the boss checklist that the boss is before Plantera? This boss is literally like post Lunatic Cultist in difficulty, in my opinion. See, I got myself a bunch of various different potions. I got myself the best weapons I could really get, like all the best accessories, and just watch me try this boss fight.
Let's summon our spider. Titan of the Night Shadow Crawler. Jesus Christ, you do damage, bro. Now you do damage, my friend. Use a bit of our whatchamacallit, the scary stuff. We're using this weapon to get our terror back. Is this the strat to defeat this guy? Just forever follow him around the world? We're so low. Oh, I was revived for my accessory. Why is he so difficult?
Yeah, when I say we got like decimated, that would be an understatement. We just got totally and fully wrecked by this boss. I decided to try and fight it a couple more times just to kind of get the hang of its AI, but that didn't help us much. I'm not gonna lie, it did not help us much. I came up with various different tactics throughout this time where I would use the time freeze at a certain point in time so then we can get a slight boost of damage before he actually gets enraged. It was hectic, but I still could not kill him. At this point, I realized that I needed to get myself myself the best accessories I could, which meant a lot of grinding. I also found this brand new NPC that actually let us apply souls to our weapons. So for example, you could use something like the Soul of Might to make your projectiles of the weapon move twice as fast, or let's say the Soul of Sight on a weapon, which would let the projectiles home into enemies, but they would all have a drawback. So the projectiles would home into enemies, but it would take away 15% damage and 35% velocity. So I applied souls to my weapons, and then I went over to the jungle, made myself an arena for Plantera, and went to go fight her with the buzzer and the crystal tier blade. On the crystal tier blade, I had the homing abilities, so the crystals would just fly right into Plantera. And you know what? We took out Plantera quite quickly. It was quite an easy boss fight, and we actually didn't get anything new from her, so that was quite underwhelming. But then I went into Golem's temple, got myself a solar tablet, got myself a bunch of lizard power cells, and then tried to wrap my brain around how to craft Skullman stuff. I'm gonna say right now, this ore was like post-Moonlord, so that's why I couldn't craft it, but hey, at least I tried. Anyways, during this time, I crafted myself the true Excalibur, and then I went on the hunt to make myself the Knight's Edge so I can craft myself the true Knight's Edge. And once I crafted the true Knight's Edge, I had to go through the solar eclipse, which was brutal. I died many times to craft myself the Terrorblade. I got myself the Terrorblade, and I enchanted it with the Soul of Might, I think it is, which just let the projectiles fly twice as fast, making the ranged capabilities of the Terrorblade even better. I went to go fight Golem with the Terrorblade, and this made the boss fight very, very easy. Along with this, I also got a brand new accessory during the solar eclipse from a vampire, which was I think called like the Vampiric Talisman, which essentially took away half of her health but made her regeneration absolutely nuts. So in the top right, as you can see, I have like 3/4 of my HP. That's because I'm using one of those life potions, but I assure you we only have half HP, but it made her regeneration just crazy. And after I took out Golem, I went to go and fight the Shadow Crawler once more. I utilized the powers of the Time Freeze and the Terrorblade to obliterate this boss. And here's my little compilation of me taking out the Shadow Crawler. You're gonna die. I got the Terrorblade this time. I don't have to use that shoddy sword. And even if I time freeze, bro, look at this. Oh, bad day, huh? Oh, he's so fast though. He's so fast. He's so fast. He's so fast. Oh, what the hell are those? What are those? What are those? What are those? Oh. Defeated Greater Demon. We took out that boss, and in the bottom left, it told us that the Midnight flourishes throughout the world. I didn't know what this was, but I'll later come to find that it was just a thing that increases your mana, so it was kind of useless to us. Anyways, we got ourselves a bunch of Souls of Plight, which can be used to craft brand new items, and specifically brand new boss summons, such as the summon for the Prototype 1, which is possibly the hardest boss I have ever fought in Terraria history. But that's for a little bit later. That's for a little bit later. Anyways, I crafted myself the Beetle Shield, and then I went back over to the Sisyphean Sky Islands biome, only to figure out that brand new enemies have formed within the islands. These brand new enemies were far more difficult than the mobs that we previously fought, but they dropped brand new items and also gave us access to Hellborn Essence, which was a very useful crafting material throughout now and like the rest of the game. Anyways, we got a bunch of Hellborn Essence, and then I went over to fight Golem again, only to die for some reason because I tried to use a brand new weapon called the Stop Sign, but it definitely was not better than Terrorblade. So yeah, we ended up dying to Golem. Funny, right? I fought Golem a couple more times. I got myself Beetle Wings. I upgraded my accessories a bunch. I fought the Hex Construct a couple more times. I got myself a bunch of Ectoplasm within Skeletron's dungeon, and then I went to go fight the Lunatic Cultist. We took out the Lunatic Cultist starting the Pillars event, and then I went straight for the Solar Pillar because I really wanted the Solar Eruption. So that's what I did. We also managed to get this one accessory that actually let us cheat death once every 3 minutes. So that was pretty neat. It came in useful in many boss fights. And while fighting the Solar Pillar, we died countless times. I tried to like utilize the time stop to cheese that thing, but we ended up taking the Solar Pillar out, and we got ourselves the Solar Fragments, and we got a brand new fragment called the Fusion Fragment, which will also come very useful in the crafting recipes from now up until post-Moonlord. I crafted myself the Solar Eruption, went to farm out even more Ectoplasm, and once we got Ectoplasm, I needed to get myself more Terra samples, so I went back to the Demon Stone biome and farmed out all the various different mobs for the Terra samples. Once we had that, I gathered all the various different materials that we needed, and we had one final thing to get, which was 100 Martian blocks. So I started the Martian Madness event, and we got the necessary things to craft ourselves the god of all boss summons, the most overpowered, death-defying boss of all time. We crafted the summon for the Prototype 1. I swear to God, this boss is post-Moonlord. I swear to God, this boss is post-Moonlord. Just check out how this went. Check out how the boss fight went. What the hell? This thing is so powerful. Whoa, 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 whoa. What? I couldn't for the life of me figure out how this boss's attacks worked, and I spent literally like half an hour just fighting it over and over again so I could figure out how the AI functioned. I fought a bunch of various different bosses so I can get myself more money, which then in turn I could buy accessories. So yeah, I got myself a bunch of phenomenal accessories and tried to fight the boss again. This time we made a little bit more progress, but regardless we still died like very easily. Using a brainstorm, I summoned in this purple rain event that we needed these charged up purple crystals for. So yeah, we went through that entire event and we actually fought a mini boss, which kind of looked like something from Calamity. But yeah, we took that out and we went through the entire event. We got all the resources only to go and try to fight the boss again and die again. After fighting the boss countless times, we actually managed to come up with a strategy where we would perfectly time the time stop, perfectly parry all of its attacks, and we actually got to the end of the boss fight, and this is how it went. Ah, come on. The thing is, when I get revived, his effect is still on me. So like, I just take so much damage. So as you can see by what just happened, we ended up dying at the same time as the boss died, which is just stupid luck. That was stupid luck and it should not have happened. But we took out the boss and like, surprisingly, it did not drop anything. So that was very underwhelming. But after this, I went to go just take out the rest of the pillars and I went on to fight Moonlord. Moonlord was quite easy. After the prototype 1, I'm not gonna lie, and on our very first defeat of Moonlord, we managed to get the Meowmer. We also cheesed the Moonlord with like our time stop abilities, so you know, we took him out very easily, but the Meowmer came in handy. A lot. Then we went to go check up on the storyline from the question mark man, which was quite intriguing. And then I went over to the Sisyphean Islands biome. Not only did the mobs in the Skylands get harder, but the mobs in the underworld got far harder. And now they dropped a brand new essence and brand new ore, which was the Skull Mound that I was trying to get earlier. So yeah, that was pretty neat. Anyways, upon going to the underworld, I actually kept on crashing my game for some reason. I just could not get any of the mobs down there to actually die properly. My game would just crash every single time I go down to the underworld because of the new mobs. And after this, I decided to go and fight the Frost Moon in order to get the North Pole Lance from the Ice Queen. I fought the Frost Moon like crazy and I killed so many of these Ice Queens, but I could not get the North Pole. I just decided to farm out a bunch of money and just buy it from the Fargo NPC instead. And upon defeating our very first Ice Queen, we actually managed to get the North Pole. I used this to craft a brand new weapon, which was this just overpowered spear that I'll show you later. But while in the Sisyphean Skylands biome, I actually got this another weapon called the Purgatory Baton that fired lasers in every single direction. It was absolutely overpowered. I fought a couple mini bosses within the Skyland biome, and then I got myself the Pride Ripper. I think that's what it's called. I fought the Lunatic Cultist with it, absolutely destroying him. I fought all the various other pillars in order to get myself a bunch of the fragments, and then I went down to the underworld to fight all the various different mobs so I can get myself the Tortured Essence, which was the other essence that we needed in order to summon in the very final boss of this mod. I fought Moonlord a couple more times so I can get myself full solar armor. I crafted myself the Skull Piercers, which were crafted out of Skullman bars, but frankly I don't even want to talk about them because they were garbage. I got myself these Martian Thrusters, which was essentially just a brand new set of wings. I got myself a bunch of new accessories, fought Moonlord a million more times to get myself solar armor and the pickaxes, and after this was done, I gathered all of my materials to craft the very final boss summon of this mod, which was the Dreadwind. I blew up half of hell trying to make myself a massive arena for this boss because I thought it was going to be just deathly difficult, and I made myself, oh, voice crack, and I made myself the perfect arena for the boss. As I went into the underworld, I summoned it in, only to figure out that it was like phases of bosses, and they kept on summoning in different bosses. So I'll show you in short what this was. This thing is so hard. Why are you so difficult? Why are you so difficult? Don't you dare try your funny business on me. I can't imagine what the final wave is going to be like. Oculus, Oculus, Oculus. The last one. Is this the last one? No, it's not the last one. Now at the very end, we had to fight these two knights, and after we defeated them, it just said that the wind has subsided and everything disappeared. I was unsure whether this was the right thing to happen, so I fought it again, and surely enough, the same thing happened. There was no story progression towards who question mark was, and nothing of that ever came about. I ended up messaging the mod developer, and he told me that yes, the mod is not fully finished, so that was intentional to happen, but I cannot wait to see what the rest of this mod has in store for us. So that was the Terrorborn mod, boyos. I hope you enjoyed the video. Consider checking out another video like this on screen. Drop a like on the video if you enjoyed it. Check out my socials. This has been Boio.